just a quick video, no fancy production values. All I'm going to do is show you how to make a plate that goes between the door mirror of Aston Martin DBS and the door. Because here's the problem: when you fit the door mirror to the door, it doesn't seat properly, and that's because the radius here is much smaller than the much larger radius of this shape on the door. So what we're going to do is make this, which goes onto the base of the mirror. That then goes between the mirror base and the door, and the mirror is then rock solid. Now we can also use the rubber gasket. I think it's actually plastic, but that can then go onto the base like that, and a little bit of care. There we go. Absolutely rock solid mirror, and without it wobbling around. So I'm going to show you how to make this little piece. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is clean the base of the mirror. So I've got some degreasant here. I'm just going to clean around the base because I'm going to put some protective tape on there. Okay, so that's nice clean. And I'm going to take the gloves off because the tape will stick to my gloves. So it's a matter of just whipping around the base of the mirror. I did actually at first consider whether it would be worth filing down this part here so that the curvature matches that on the door, but I thought, well, if I do that, I've broken the chrome finish and leave it open to corrosion. So there we go, that's all covered in tape. And also, as you saw before, I covered the door in tape. Now this process will not damage your paint, even if you have a really expensive paint finish, Tom. You won't do any harm to your paint. Right. Oh, and I nearly forgot, the other thing I have to do is put some tape around the threads. So just a little bit of tape on there. And I'll put a few layers on there just to make sure it thickens the stem a bit. Okay. The next thing, I'm going to get a tin of grease, get a paintbrush, and I'm going to grease up all the insides. Make sure that every part of the surface inside the base there is covered in grease. And then the filler that I'm going to use won't stick to it. We should be able to release it easily. There we go. Being really thorough, making sure every square millimetre is covered in grease. There we go. And then the other thing I'm going to do is also grease the door. So be liberal with the grease. And I'm just going to rub it in with my hand just to make sure it's really ingrained into that tape. There we are. No filler's going to stick to that now. Okay, so next I'm going to take the body filler. Now this is Isopon Repair body filler for holes. So it's reinforced with glass fibre. Now I know that in America you call filler Bondo, well that's the most popular brand, and I'm sure over there they also do this kind of reinforced filler. So you can see all the strands of glass fibre there. And that's what I'm aiming to make. So make sure I've got enough material to make another fillet. I don't know really what to call it. A fillet, a gasket is a thing which goes between two surfaces in order to make them fit, but then on the other hand we've got the soft rubber or plastic gasket, so let's stick to calling that the gasket, and we'll call this the fillet, or you could perhaps call it an escutcheon. So that's the paste. Then we need the hardener, and I'm going to be quite generous with the hardener because I want it to go off quite quickly. Okay, get that mixed in. When the colour is completely uniform, then you know it's all mixed in. Try to keep your one hand free of filler and mess. That way you can pick up the mirror and not get muck all over the place. Right, now it's a little bit tricky to work, but it's a matter of getting the filler into the base of the mirror without any air pockets. And I try not to waste filler material when I make up pieces, but I don't want to be short on this job. So, and I want to be generous on which way is it going to go. It goes that way, so it's got to be heavy on this side. It's going to fit close to the body on the bottom and be quite generous on the top. So I'm going to try and pat that down. Yeah, I've got plenty of material there. Now it's a matter of putting the mirror into the door. There we go. And I want to make sure it's not pushed up, but it's as close as possible at the bottom. So I'll run my finger around there. Just gonna, and whilst making sure that it's pressed downwards, I'm just going to try and get this filler well and truly in. And there. You can of course easily overwork it, but you've got to know when to stop. Okay, now it's just a matter of waiting for that to go off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little bit that's left over as a guide to know when it's just on the turn. And I'm not going to, leave it until it's rock solid. I'm going to release it from the door just before it's truly hard, when it's on the turn. Okay, so about 7 minutes later and the filler is going off. So now it's time to separate the piece from the door. I'm just lifting. I don't think I'm going to need the knife I'm holding, but maybe I do. There we are. Okay, it seems to be sticking to the tape, so let's see if we can take the tape with it. actual fact, I think I was a little bit overly generous with the tape around the lugs. But anyway, there we go. It's off. There's the paintwork, completely undamaged. Voila. Now I've got to work this into a more refined shape. So let's go over here. And it's far better to do this when it's soft than try to do it when it's hard, rock hard. So let's take a knife and just gently start to trim it down, getting nearer and nearer to the point where we want it to be. And what I'm going to do is get a leather glove on my left hand so I don't cut it. There we are, a bit of protection. Let's see how you can see that best. And then it's a matter of trimming this down all the way around until we get to being level with the base of the mirror. If you try to do this when it's rock hard, you are in for a heck of a job. Now, I don't expect it to be absolutely perfect or possible to trim it down to perfection. I expect I'm going to have to add just a little bit more filler to get it right, but the basis of it will be fine. There we are. So I'm just getting through to the base there. But in the meantime, I can get the tape off the threads, and that will make it easier to get the piece off. I'm going to have a go now at separating the piece from the base, and that is just easy peasy. There we go. Voila. And there's the piece. And now it's just a matter of sanding it down just to get it perfect, cleaning up the mirror, painting it black. Bob's your uncle. Not that it would be a problem, but I'm just going to clean off the last of the tape from around the base of the bolts. There we go. Take that off. So that's now, and you can see it's completely clean on the inside. There's no filler stuck there because I've got the grease in so well. Normally you'd use wax for fiberglass work to stop it from sticking, but really that's because with wax you can actually work the fiberglass, whereas it's with grease you can't. But we didn't actually work the fiberglass, we just stuffed it in there, and it really is a guaranteed release, whereas wax can sometimes stick. There we are. There we are, completely clear. Clean up the base and the sticky residue from the masking tape. There's some sticky residue there. There's just a little bit of the material stuck to the chrome where I didn't grease it, but even then I just got a thumbnail to it. That's the best thing to get it off. Just get your thumbnail, which has broken through my glove. There we are. Perfect. There we are, there's the piece. And that goes in, which way around? Is it that way around? There we go. Look at that. Perfect fit. So there's no need for me to show you how to clean that up and just finish off the surface perfectly. It's just a matter of sanding it down and painting it, because there's one I made previously. And just to show you it on the door, so the mirror goes that way, and which way around does that go? That's that way. There we are. And that's now a perfect fit. It doesn't rock. Let's have a close-up. Once you screw that down, that will be absolutely solid. So there you are. I hope you've enjoyed that and will be brave enough to have a go at this yourself. Cheers, lads.